Maybe it's no surprise at this point, but the finals' upward trajectory has been absolutely insane. Season 8 just launched and it's already boosted the game's concurrent player count to its highest levels since launch, featuring revamped destruction, 2 new weapons, and the usual bevy of insanely high quality and crazy cosmetics and a new battle pass. This season feels par for the course for the finals, but also a great example of just how to support a competitive FPS after launch, staying true to the formula. Let's take a look at the new stuff, starting off with their revamped destruction. Now look, it's hard to argue that the finals didn't already have some of the best destruction ever seen in a multiplayer game, but they've somehow outdone themselves yet again. The Season 8 update rolled out what Embark are calling smooth destruction to all the maps. Previously, falling chunks of buildings and structures didn't impact their momentum or cause damage on the things that they fell onto. Now, destruction cascades from one structure to another. In the trailers and highlight reels, it makes a dramatic difference to the look of the game's destruction, but in practice it feels far more nuanced. I've definitely noticed an improvement in how natural and logical the destruction feels now that buildings can more realistically crash into each other, but actually triggering this sort of destruction to have a deliberate impact on the gameplay is more situational. Knocking over a crane to break open a roof of an adjacent building is definitely cool to see, but a more direct approach to opening a roof is always going to be preferable. I think the real benefit to smooth destruction is just buildings falling apart in ways that look far more realistic and make more sense. Instead of broken walls bouncing off of each other and upper levels getting stuck as they fracture in place, all of the destruction now flows much more organically. So if you blow open the ceiling of a building and that destruction then falls down, it can then break open the floor below it instead of just creating a giant pile of rubble that gets in the way. Now I will say, on the flip side, having smooth destruction enabled, it becomes harder to maintain verticality than it was before. So if your team has really good map position above an objective, an enemy team will have an easier time of knocking you down and out of that position. Overall though, I think the enhanced destruction is a big leap forward for the game, and it just puts the finals further out of reach for any other game trying to do multiplayer destruction. And it also opens up some new opportunities for Embark to get really crazy with future map design. A lot of structures in the existing maps require destroying multiple points of support before they'll go flying or come crumbling down. So making future maps with more fragile vertical structures that a solo player can collapse could probably open up some really crazy gameplay opportunities. There's of course a balance that the devs need to strike so the maps don't end up flattening out completely over time, but so far they've done a great job. And it seems like smooth destruction is only going to just make the game much better in the long run. With this update, Embark also made some pretty big updates to their classic maps, like the suspended structures on the Monaco map are pretty different now. The structures are larger, they offer more of an actual place to fight instead of just being these simple 2-story boxes. Bringing these updated structures down is still going to be a team effort, but they're clearly designed to complement the game's enhanced destruction more than the older structures. A team bringing one of these to the ground would be a huge change to the layout of the level, especially considering that the vaults on Cash Out frequently spawn in or below them. Now, every time I jump back into the finals, I'm just amazed at how amazingly well this game plays and how good it feels. The graphics are great, the optimization is fantastic, it's butter smooth even in crazy intense moments. The weapons, which have really now gone through a lot of trial and error, feel incredibly well balanced. There isn't really a whole lot to complain about these days, with certain classes or setups being particularly OP. That said, the finals isn't completely immune to gameplay issues. One of the things that I noticed and seemed to find a lot of agreement amongst the community of the finals is that there's not a huge emphasis on PTFOing. There's a pretty substantial penalty for getting a team wipe in the game, where the respawn time and being out of the action is so severe that teams really have to sort of stand back and fight when it makes the most sense. And what this leads to is a ton of third partying. If you're playing a mode like Quick Cash, it can feel like the smartest way to play is to wait for the other teams to beat each other up and then steal their objective and then sit somewhere and hide until everybody respawns. Because when your team gets wiped, you just get this massive penalty on your respawn, and you typically spawn like 100 meters or more away from an objective, and then your tactical options are really limited. It's both a good feature and a tricky feature to balance, because obviously if one team wins a firefight and secures their objective, you don't want them to immediately lose it again, but it does seem like there's too big of a reward for the team that strategically third parties everybody. And the problem with it is it's not like a really big brain play. It's just sort of the obvious play, and circumstance, or happenstance rather, seems to determine who could come out on top. It'd be interesting if they tried out some mechanics where, like, if you are fighting another team and you wipe them, then maybe you get instant respawns for your teammates, or full health or something like that, where you can get back up to a fighting condition fairly quickly in case another team tries to jump in and third party you at that point. It's hard to say because the third party gameplay mechanic is a legitimate one that exists in many games out there, but it is very prevalent in the finals. Now, as for the new guns, the P90 is a really solid addition to the game that feels pretty well slotted into the meta already. It's the first SMG for the medium class, and it gives this class a bit more close range versatility, since most of the other medium weapons are higher damage but slower firing. Being able to spray and pray medium and light class players is great, but heavies still take a little extra emphasis on headshots to get a decent TTK. The new BFR Titan pistol is also a really solid addition for the heavy class, with huge damage potential on headshots, even at range. This season's new weapons really feel like an attempt by Embark to give the class's new versatility. Most of the heavy's weapons are focused on mid-range mag dumping. Having a pinpoint high damage weapon opens up some new ways to play this class. Going forward, I do like the idea of them diversifying the classes a lot, as long as they're careful with it. Everybody wants the classes to sort of know their roles or play their roles, but having a little bit of flexibility within those roles can always be fun. Now, while playing this update, it really hit me that the finals has hit its stride. There isn't like a huge amount of crazy new content in this update, but that can be a good thing once a game has nailed its gameplay and really solidified what players like. It's yet another meaningful update that improves the gameplay and gives returning players more to unlock, but it's not fundamentally redefining major things or trying to get you with too many gimmicky gotcha features and stuff like that. It's just giving you more of the same greatness that the finals has established. And seeing a multiplayer game's concurrent player count continuing to climb over a year after launch is practically unheard of these days, and if there's any game I'm glad to see getting more popular, it is absolutely the finals. And I'm also very much looking forward to their next game coming out, Arc Raiders, which I believe is launching in late October. I think it's one of my most hyped games for the years at this point, and can't wait to play it. I'd be curious to know in the comments if you guys are still playing the finals. What do you think about the game? Do you think it needs any sort of major balance changes, or are you just in general really happy with everything that they're doing? As always, guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to drop me a like, subscribe for more content like it. And up next, check out this video showing the two massive maps in Battlefield 6 that are coming out fairly soon. There's Firestorm and Mirrock Valley. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. This is Level Cap, signing off.